So usually we discuss about Buddhism according to the book Buddhism and Buddhism, the illustrated guide. Yeah, let's see here. Let me tell you the screen here. Hmm. Yeah, it's usually we have uh, Sam, right? Sam and Kristen here, but they sick today.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, the weather somehow get people sick a lot. Can you
Oh, as much as it's changing.
can you see?
Yes.
Oh, let's see here. Oh, Mr. Lee. Hi, and Stephen. How you been, Stephen?
Hi. Mo Phật thầy, how are you?
Yeah, thank you. How is the weather up there?
It on the way home from work, it started snowing a little bit, and a certain spot got a little bit slippery. As usual, there's a few car that ran off the road.
Oh,
Really?
gosh.
Yeah, when snow starts, people just a few people, I hate to say the word, just don't know how to properly drive, and they start sliding. And there was one of them, they might have hit, each other because they were maybe going too fast and, getting too close.
Yeah,
But
not looking.
It's not it's not icy, right?
not yet, no. It's just a little bit slippery and slushy.
Uh,
So
you have to be careful. What's that?
I said maybe I should go ahead and head out for it's bad out there.
Oh, really? It's just getting cold now.
It is getting.
You know how to lock in? Or too late for you to lock
I
in?
think, yeah, I think you got, I
What,
should have gotten the email.
what's your email? You want to check your uh, you got that? You got my miss link there? Mm. Yeah, I just wait for yeah. Wait then. Yeah, so we have Mr. Anthony, right?
Yes.
And we have and Stephen. Yeah, let us start to read then. Sorry, this is one here. Mm. Can you see and Stephen?
yes, I can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see.
yeah, yeah. And Stephen, if you like, if you can read, please.
One of the distinguishing characteristics of Buddhism in the principle of upaya, or the skill in means, to teach or lead others to truth. The idea was most clearly developed in the Lotus Sutra, a Mahayana scripture. It's a little bit blurry there,
Let's.
but Buddhism
Yeah, go ahead.
in Buddhism in all its forms assumes that an enlightened teacher will use whatever means are available to communicate truths that are often counterintuitive.
Can stop there.
Okay.
Mm. You understand?
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about the skill meaning before, and Stephen,
Briefly, yes.
can you give one example? What's mean by skill and means?
This I'm still fuzzy on that one, but I believe basically each time when we learn, we are proactively always want to hone in and not only understand, but actually the practice of the teachings. And I believe that's what the skills and means mean. You always want to get better and practicing basically Buddhist teaching, training, in other words, training your mind. So, motherfucker.
And Anthony, you understand that or no? What's mean?
Yes, I do.
What's mean?
Yeah, I do understand the training of the mind on it. It's, yeah.
Yeah, this not the mean is that let's say Stephen, let's say your daughter somehow she doesn't have mm, uh, she doesn't, let's say she doesn't want to go to temple, for example, right? And you say,
Mhm.
well, how about go to temple with me? After that, I take you to the movie. They'll take you to shopping center to buy you something. So skill mean like the you are leader, yeah, the parents, yeah, the fathers. If someone doesn't understand something, you use some ways to persuade them or to guide them in the right way, in the practical way. But let's say in your daughter case, if she doesn't want to go to temple, but you push her, she will resist that. Make sense, right?
Yes, that
But
is correct.
then, okay, make the deal. You go with me to temple. After that, we go to shopping. I buy some thing for you, like iPad and so forth. She'll be happy to go. Make sense? That is skill in me. To have someone to go along with you, but give them some incentive to go with you.
Like a reward.
Yeah. It makes sense, Anthony?
Yeah, yes, I'm here.
Yeah,
I
that's
said like a reward.
yeah. Give them some incentive, right? Reward,
Right,
so that they can go
right,
along with you. Otherwise, they may not. Otherwise, it's not easy for you to convince them or you push them. Make sense?
right.
Especially
Yeah,
the,
it gives
especially.
them something to look forward to afterwards. And that way they can, once they get in though, then they, start to understand what is important while you're there
That's
and just take it in.
yeah, to bring them in. Yeah, to use
Right,
some means, the means to bring them in, right?
right,
In a skillful way, right? In the practical way,
right.
so that they can be happy to go with you. Okay. All right. So that's what a skill mean, especially in the Lotus Sutra. We talk about that, like and Stephen, right? Lotus Sutra.
Yes. Yeah, no problem.
You see that to communicate truth that are often counterintuitive. That's intuitive, right? That means sometimes you could use some leeway. Anyway, uh, Anthony, you like to read the next part, please?
Oh, yeah. Oops, sorry, I'm standing on some steps.
Hmm.
In part, this reflects the Buddhist view of, and that part is,
Language, yeah.
language, as an imperfect medium of communication. It also indicates a fundamentally flexible approach to doctrine or dogma.
You can stop there.
And
That's you can
okay,
stop there. It's understandable.
yeah, I mean it's our view, to have your mentality to be flexible, how to approach everything,
Mm-hmm.
not just like one set way, but be open to others' opinions.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh, and Stephen, you follow?
Yes.
So can use we can use the language to describe the meanings of the Buddha teaching, not in the dogma way, not in the rigid way, but in the flexible way, right? For example, so the Buddha say, well, let's say here, okay, let's say you remind your daughter, uh, mm, don't step on the ant, don't step on the bug, right? Uh, uh, because this is the killing. Make sense? Uh,
Mhm.
Yes,
show her that, oh, just remind her that, okay, you're not supposed to one of the Buddhist precept is no killing. That means even the bug uh and the ant, we're not supposed to step on them. Make sense, and Stephen?
Yes,
Yeah.
mhm.
Anthony, you follow, right? Mm.
yes,
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, and Stephen, please.
In Buddhism, there is no shame in admitting that a lecture, which is an inspiration to one person, will fall on deaf ears for someone else. There
Yeah.
are examples in the early literature of individuals who heard the Buddha preach and simply left when the lecture ended, unmoved. There are even stories of people who sought him out for religious discussion, but departed unconvinced by his answers.
You can stop there. Yeah.
That there, I believe it's stating that basically because of the way he was teaching, it's just like Anthony was mentioning, there is open for everyone's interpretation. But at the same time, I guess people are confused probably because they're just not familiar with, I guess, just mainly his teaching, I guess. So you really have to understand what his method of teaching Buddhism, I guess, for you to truly understand and also enable to, I guess, interpret. So, no fate.
You follow, Anthony?
Yes.
Yeah, so even sometimes the Buddha spoke with someone may not understand much, but the Buddha still continue to talk, right? Go ahead, Anthony. The next one, please.
Okay. The Buddha explained that when a crowd gathered to hear him speak, those, I can't see that word there,
Present.
present, all heard different sermons because each listener comprehended only what
Mm.
they don't.
Okay, sorry. Let's see here. Oh, okay, right here. Yeah. What he or she.
Okay, what he or she was able to comprehend at the moment. In Mayan thought, one of the supernatural abilities ascribed to a Buddha is the ability to preach a different message to everyone in the room at the same time, tailoring each message to fit their individual approaches to life.
You can stop.
But
That's
okay.
Sorry. You can stop there.
It's okay.
You understand this part? I think this is one.
Yes, actually I do. That means that like everybody doesn't learn the same. So to be able to tailor something that will help them understand, you may have to break it down differently. For someone who doesn't understand one way, it's just different learning abilities.
Yeah, and also for the Buddha, even he in the big group of people, in the large group of people, he gave the same teaching, but everyone understand different way because of his wisdom. So they would recognize or understand his teaching. It's like let's say a professor, right? You go to the class, and those or even hundreds of students. So the professor will explain the the subject according to the level of a student, so that they can understand. That's what about. Yeah. Yeah, and Stephen, please. But
even without such displays of the paranormal, the Buddha was always seen as possessing an uncanny ability to discern the best way to instruct an individual based on assessment of their mental situation. At times, this consisted of communicating a religious truth without any explanation of all.
Yeah.
That one, I believe, is just stating that because of Buddha's just overwhelming knowledge, he was able to basically understand and kind of like see how each individual, how they're thinking, whether they're like basically they're understanding, whether they're confused, and basically he would turn around and basically try to explain it in a better way, I guess, to make sure that they understand. In other words, he's able to just adapt and compromise just based on that situation. So, which is why he was so great at as a teacher. So, Mofate.
Yeah, so let's say let's say at work, right? If you're a supervisor, right? Let's say uh and you get used of working with your coworker, your uh the one that underneath you, right? But let's say one day they just accept a new worker, right? So you need to use some simple language, right? Simple explanation about the procedure, the job, so that that new worker could understand, comprehend the job description, right? So that's a skill. But if you say something so lofty, right, or so technical, right, they may not understand, right?
Yep.
But
Right.
okay. So the point I want to say is that Buddha can use some ways that even the little children or the leaders, a religious leader can understand. Like whoever, if you mastery any field, if you have any kind of expertise, right? No matter who come to you, you can explain to them. They understand whether they're young or old, because you know well that profession, because that's your expertise. Right? Make sense, Anthony? Right?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I can relate that to what I do every day at work, having to, explain things to people and break it down on a level that they're going to understand it,
Mhm.
because not everybody has the same knowledge and the same understanding. So, I have to break things down for myself sometimes because of, I have if I have too many words, I have to break it down into smaller sections. So I do that for other people too. So
Mhm. So you do the customer service, or you do
yes,
where?
I work for Humana. I deal with the retirement community, people who are retired, in our seniors who have Medicare, Medicaid insurance. So they're calling in, and of course, a lot of them don't understand all the terminology, and we
Mhm.
don't want to use work jargon because that's just going to confuse them too. So, you know,
Mhm. Yes.
or sometimes their doctors will tell them something, but it doesn't make sense, so they call us.
Mhm.
We'll call the doctor with them and like, hey, what did you say so we could better help them understand?
Mhm.
So, yeah, I do that every day.
Mhm. So this story illustrate the Buddha skill means. Yeah, and Stephen, please. Yeah.
Yes, Mofate. The remarkable ability of the Buddha to convey his message to individuals is illustrated by the story of a young woman called Kissa Gotami, who, after an arranged marriage, found that her in-laws regarded her as a less than ideal bride. She was desperate to win their approval by producing a male heir, but she and her husband had difficulty conceiving.
Okay.
As per,
No,
continue?
can summarize, please. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, you,
Yeah. Can you summarize the first part? Yeah.
just basically explaining the beginning part of the story here, where Kissa Katama was basically married into the family here, basically by an pretty much an arranged marriage, probably from both parents' side there. And of course, the in-law on the husband's side just didn't take her as a good bride, so to say. I'm guessing the old-fashioned, just like most Chinese, where they expect the bride to more be a servant, I guess, in a sense. But anyway, she just trying her best to please the in-law, the family there, and they're basically trying. I'm guessing just like most traditional family, male is always considered status-wise a higher than female. So they're basically trying to get a male, but unfortunately they're just could not conceive. So, and
This
So
is
more
what
factor.
this one in context of India, not China. But
Yes, correct. I understand. But I would just give an example. I mean, some Chinese culture was in similar too, though. So they always take male is always dominant than female. So, but yes, that was from India, correct?
yeah, even nowadays too, right? Even nowadays in Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
India, so the male dominance one
Mm-hmm.
compared with the female. That's the old faction or that the conservative one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So Anthony, can you read the next paragraph, please? Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. As preparations began to find a more suitable wife, she became pregnant and bore a son. For a time, her troubles seemed to be over, but then the infant became ill and died. Completely beside herself, she ran into town to seek someone who could bring her baby back to life. Taking pity on her, the townspeople suggested the Buddha, who they described as a miracle worker living in a forest outside of town. She found him and begged him to restore her son's life, and the Buddha promised to do so if she could bring him one mustard seed from a home where no one had ever died.
You can stop there and summarize, please. Mm.
Well, she was desperate for help because she didn't want to lose her son, and so she thought that was going to help her marriage and them, you know, accept her. So she went to find someone who would help, and when they told her about the Buddha, uh, he wasn't going to. He had to. She had to bring him something from some place where nobody had died because it had to be pure. The mustard seed had to be pure of no death around it.
You think that's possible?
Mm, it, possibly, but
Meaning if is that possible to go to the house even nowadays, right? That no one, no relative have passed away before. It's possible.
there
No.
sometimes it depends on where they passed. I mean,
No, we're
I
not talking about where they passed, but I'm talking about no matter where we live, right?
right.
So
Oh, so you mean go to a home where nobody has lost anybody, regardless in the house? No, it's not possible to do that at all. Right.
that
So he
that
was,
that's the point of what I want to say, to tell
Yes.
yeah,
this
It's
lady.
the impossible.
Impossible.
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah. That
Stephen, yeah, please next one.
What's that type?
Yeah, I'm told right here. This is the next
Okay.
one.
Although mustard seeds were common enough, Kisakatama found that every household had experienced a death in the family. Slowly, the truth dawned upon her that what had seemed to be a simple request was actually impossible. Returning to the Buddha, she confessed her error and deep appreciation for the truth of impermanence. Without any explicit statement from the master, she now realized the profound implications of the first noble of truths, dukkha, and joined the community of nuns. Here, she basically realized that based on his teaching there about the seeds, finding the seeds, that, the task of what she was stating to begin with is literally impossible, and realized that basically life, in the individual human form, I guess, is only one direction. And once that is it, she truly understand and basically decided to join the community as becoming a nun and basically learn more factor.
Thank you. So, and Stephen, Anthony, you see this story clearly, right? How the Buddha taught
yes,
instead of say, "Oh, your son died, so there's no way for me to bring him back."
right,
She more suffer, right? So he used the indirect means, right? Hey,
right,
if you go to any house that doesn't have anyone that passed away, if that house, if you could find that house and bring that monster sit back to me, I will bring back uh, your sunlight. So
right.
so
And
that's
that,
to go around, right? But there's no way for her to find, because every house she stopped by and asked, they would say they would have they have their past relatives, right? The one who passed away in that family. So that's what they call skewing means, right? Instead of teaching directly about the impermanence of life, and instead of saying, oh, life is impermanent, someone should be die soon later, she may not accept that, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So Stephen, let's say somehow your daughter dropped her iPhone, right? So she cry, or she even let's say, oh, okay, this case, let's put this way, she loved the cat, right? She had cat, you have cat at home, right?
No pets, no pets. But yeah,
Like,
I understand. Yeah.
you understand, right? So hey, so let's say she loved the cat so much and she cry every day. So how could you use experiment to release her from that suffering then?
Well, I've been reminding her a little bit about, our teaching here, and of course, regarding the children's class, that basically we have to understand that, just like what we're explaining here, life is impermanence. We grow up, we age, and then eventually we will pass and move on. And then that is not just because things broken down, or we're passing. It doesn't mean that it's just the end. Just like the example we were saying, like the iPhone. It's just an object. It doesn't mean anything. So you can always get something else, so it's not worth it. So, and then that's the true impermanence behind that each individual would have to truly understand and accept. Because if you don't, that's where I'm guessing all the suffering occurs, because you're not able to accept that, and then you're always worrying, because if that's the case, then that's not the true meaning of living. So most of it.
So Anthony, have you ever encountered this kind of situation before? You use some means to explain to your customer or clients so that they can understand and release their suffering before? You had a similar story before or no?
I mean, as far as my members, it's more of helping them. Well, actually, yeah, because some of them will have like a deductible, or they'll say, why do these other people on TV not have deductibles? And then you explain to them, well, they don't, but you, with your plan, you don't have to pay $5,000 before you go into the hospital. Whereas if you change to this other one, you may have to come up with $5,000 before you're even admitted. And then they're like, oh, maybe I will stay with the plan that I currently have. I see, yeah, okay, I pay something, but the other side's not as green as it looks on TV, because those commercials can be very, very misleading.
Do you have children?
I have a four-legged child. I have a Shih Tzu, a four-legged. Oh yeah, little dog. She doesn't know that term though. And yes, I have to bribe her with toys or treats sometimes too. So she knows, or I don't know, I think she has me trained. Because if I walk by the cabinet, the pantry, she will stop and won't move until I get a treat. So yeah.
That's one smart dog.
Hey, yeah. I mean, they're originally from Tibet, and originally their name is Lion Dog, is what Shih Tzu stands for.
Wow.
So yeah.
So
she's
they brought them here from Tibet?
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yes. The original bloodline is from Tibet. They used to sit on satin pillows and were given only normally to royalty as gifts.
Wow.
During the Cold War, that line had almost went extinct. And then they started breeding them again after that. So any Shih Tzu from the Cold War on is a direct descendant from Tibet.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very lion dog, because the reason they look like they have a saddle is because the story is that Buddha rode them, and they have a spot on top of their head with looks like a white spot. Well, it's where he kissed them. and he was riding one around someplace, and some burglars were going to try to rob him. The Shih Tzu rose up into a lion, scared the burglars away, and that's why the Shih Tzu was considered royalty in Tibet, because it protected Buddha. That's the story of it, and it's considered lion dog. And they have a lion look about their face when they, and then when she has a growl type thing. So
Right, that's wonderful.
yeah.
Hi, Ben. You have Ben here. Can you hear us, Ben?
Yes.
Yeah. So did you drive today?
Yes, just got home. Sorry,
Okay,
sorry for being late, everybody.
that's okay. Thank you.
Well,
So how was last Sunday? You enjoy?
Oh yeah, yes, it's very good.
But we're so fortunate, right? So today, somehow this weekend, the weather is terrible, right? It getting cold, slippery out there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
be very careful.
How was your driving? It's slippery out there?
It's scary. Too many ambulances and police cars, so I try
Oh,
to come
yes.
home. Yeah,
Oh,
just I try to be careful. I'd rather listen to you and talk to you than be out on the roads. Honestly.
Yeah. So you just got back recently?
Yeah, I just got back home.
You got a lot of call, a lot of delivery today?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah. All right. So let's continue then. Yeah. We just talk about this story. Ben, this story about the lady. She has a son, right? The little son. So, but somehow her son died. And so she brought her son to the Buddha and asked the Buddha to revise his life for her. But the Buddha said, well, if you go to the village and knock door by door and find any house that doesn't have anyone that passed away, uh, if you find that house and get and ask for the mustard seed, bring that mustard stick back, I will revise the life of your son. You follow the story, Ben? You understand the story now?
Mm, I'm reading over it. Please don't hold up for me. I'm gonna have to read over it to get the context.
But you follow my explanation or not much?
Mm,
Mm.
mm, mm, mm.
And Stephen, could you mind to summarize for him?
Yes. Basically, Tay was explaining how this lady here, because of her son died there, people in the village there was saying that there was obviously Buddha could be able to revive her dead son. So that's when she
Okay.
went and asked Buddha that. But Buddha explained to her if she can go down to any house that there is no one have ever died before and bring back to him a mustard seed.
Hmm.
If she is able to do that, then he will revive her son.
Hmm.
So basically, he's basically teaching her the truth about impermanence. So because that's just an impossible task. Every single household, there's gonna be someone who have passed away.
Oh. Okay, I get it now.
And then that's how she realized and understand, impermanence. So it's just normal human life is just a one-way direction. And then of course she realized that. And just like most of the follower, obviously she decided to become a nun to learn more. So
Hmm. And what's the significance of the mustard seed? Why get a mustard seed?
that was just an example, Buddhist example. So
Okay.
The
his
mustard seed,
teaching method, yeah.
the mustard seed is not important. Important is to teach her the lesson that uh, there's no family that doesn't have anyone that passed away.
Hmm.
Yeah. So why does mean that what they call the skill in uh, teaching instead of teaching them directly, right? Instead of the Buddha, instead of saying to her, well, your son died already. I cannot devise him. I cannot bring him back to life. Instead of saying that, it may, if the Buddha say that, it may make cause her more suffering. So instead of saying that, the Buddha say, well, go there and find some house, right? That doesn't have anyone that passed away, and ask for the most seed, and bring it back. Bring that back so I can devise your sunlight. Do you understand that?
Now I understand. In Buddhism, does the Buddha have the power to revive the dead?
Mm, Actually, that's not what the Buddha meant. Even he has a skill, but he would not do that.
Okay, because of to teach the lesson of impermanence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Jar. Can you turn on the cam, please? Jar. Yeah. So like, hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, you got home.
Yeah, I made it home safe.
Oh, you got home quick. Wow. How is the road?
They're fine. The snow's just coming down like crazy.
Oh, okay. Well, glad that you got home safely. Okay. So Ben, let's say you bring, let's say some of your customer ask you to deliver something, right? And they may say, oh, that is so expensive, right? And but you can say, well, if you buy another one, it's more expensive than that. So you mean that, I mean that you use some way to explain for them so they can understand the value. Make sense? That's what called skill and mean, right? Okay. Yeah.
I understand. I understand now.
So Jerry, this is a story here. Right. One more time, and Stephen, could you summarize this story for him, please? Yeah.
Yes. The whole story is basically Kissa there was involved in the wife there was involved in an arranged marriage into a family here, and her in-laws, the family there, just basically looked down on her, didn't believe that she's going to be a good wife, and then eventually, as time passed, she was able to conceive and have one son, but the son got ill and passed not too long after that. And she was afraid that, it's going to go back and the family's going to, because she lost the son, that the family's going to, not like her anymore. So she's basically going around trying to get some help to see, is there any way to bring back her son? And there's a people in town that's saying that Buddha might be able to help revive her dead son. So she went to Buddha and asked that. And basically, he told her that he might be able to do that as long as she can go to any house that hasn't had one passed yet. And if so, bring back a mustard seeds to him, then he can revive. But that's his way of basically teaching impermanence, because if you go to any household, there's always someone who have passed away before, whether it be your aunt, uncle, grandparents. So he's basically is an impossible task to find a household that didn't have no one who passed.
Yeah, thank you.
And of course, she realized that. So
you follow, Jerry?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, Ben, you might to read the next paragraph, please. East Asia.
Okay. In East Asia, the doctrine of skill in means led to a host of new interpretations of the scriptural material. The fountainhead of this movement was the Lotus Sutra, which enjoyed much greater influence there than in the rest of the Buddhist world. This sutra categorizes the Dharma into teachings of expediency and teachings of truth. The common division of
You can stop that. Yeah. You understand it? Can you summarize? Yeah.
Hmm. It's introducing the Lotus Sutra, which is one of the main teachings of Mahayana, which teaches about the vehicles of Mahayana Buddhism. And that's all that I get from that, is the introduction of the Lotus Sutra.
Sure. Okay. Jerry, you'd like to read the next one, please? The common.
All right. The common division of the community into several paths or approaches to faith and practice is explained as a formula constructed merely for convenience. The sutra explains that the Buddha at times used skillful means to help his followers progress step by step. But the truth is that there is only a single path, the Buddha path, to Buddhahood for everyone.
Okay, stop there. Can you understand?
Yes. I have a hard time summarizing this stuff, but
So basically, this sutra, the Buddha say, and in the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha say that, even explain Buddha teaching in different ways, in many paths. But the important thing is that I just use those means to guide your guide to the Buddha path, right? Let me tell you this what they call the story of the burning house. Probably you may not know. Yeah. So it say that, especially in that Lotus Sutra, it say that so one fathers somehow one day his house was burned down, but his children still play in the house. Let's say in the big house, right? One part of the house was burning, but the children don't have not yet. They don't know yet, but so they still play in one different corner. You understand that? So the fathers use the experiment. Hey, get out the house. I have some toys for you guys to play out here. So all the children rush out the house, not because of the fire, not because they are afraid of the fire, but because they want to have some toys out of the house. Understand? So that's one of the parable in the Lotus Sutra that talk about. So in
I understand.
yeah, yeah, Anthony, you follow that, right?
Right. Instead of making them fear something, he gave them something to go out to look for more pleasurable. He didn't want them to run out in fear and screaming. He wanted them to see something happy.
So that's why the Buddha say that, well, I give the teaching like for the truth and so forth, so that people can get out of the birth cycle and like burning house. Yeah, so that they could be free from the suffering. That's what is
Right.
in this single path. Single path is the Buddha path is regardless of teaching, the Buddha want us to become a Buddha like him. He doesn't want us to become only holy monk or art. No, he wants us to attain to the highest state of mind. That fully enlightenment like him, like the Buddha. So he used all kind of experiment means to guide us. Make sense? Ben? Yeah. So like he called us out of the burning house. Okay. Anthony, would you like to read the next one, please?
Yes. Beginning in late 6th century China, this model of expedient versus actual was used throughout East Asia to make sense of the many disparate teachings found in the hundreds of scriptures within the region's canons. canons, scriptures, and doctrines were classified on the presumption that the Buddha used his skill in means to guide his followers from concrete to abstract truths, from the moral to the metaphysical understandings.
Yeah, we can stop.
Perhaps
We can stop there. Yeah. You understand?
so. Yeah, to more of it's more of teaching things that are spiritual and not physical. You know, like things that you don't have to have something in your hand to understand it. It's a belief and maybe a way to help explain. And you don't always have to use something materialistic to help somebody understand something.
Yeah, like the way that you explain to your clients, right?
Right, right,
By the plan, right?
right. Or
yeah.
or it's like I don't let my Shih Tzu out the front door because there's something, that's not safe for her. She has to go out back where it's fenced in. So, and I have to make sure, no, you can't go out here, but you can go out here. So it's like you give a negative, but you give a positive. Like, I can't do that. Suppose I can do this for you or help you.
Instead of deny directly, right? Or outright.
Right.
Yeah. And Stephen, the last sentence, please.
Yes. Perhaps the most revolutionary use of this doctrine came with the Pure Land School in China, when Dochuo labeled all teachings and practices devoted to reaching Amitabha's Pure Land as the Buddha's true intent, and all other religious activities and expedients that were to be abandoned. I'm guessing it's just stating that they realized that the most important doctrine was to reach Pure Land, so China adopted that there is only this one way, one path is in order to reach Nirvana or the Pure Land is to literally follow Buddha's teaching, so that everyone to just pretty much get away from suffering. So most like that.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh, I'm just thinking about the shooting at the Kansas City Chiefs festival, the open shooting, and just if those people would have known about nonviolence or would have had like the Eightfold Path, right view, right action, or had meditated that day. So it's so important to teach, go from trying to change people's behavior to teaching them the spiritual principles behind it.
Yeah. It's not easy, right? It's not easy to teach them how to be non-violent, right?
Sadly, that's what this world's turning to. It's sad.
So why it's not easy to teach people in non-violent way? Why is that?
I think it's just ingrained in our society. There's just so much violence and anger and mental health disorders, and people are just going off of their emotions, and it's just spilling over. I'm sure it's gone on for the history of human beings, but when it hits so close to home, and I don't know. I'm thinking about it in my own head, so I feel afraid.
I think some people act or react before they think, and then they do anger or stupidity basically blinds them to do something like that. I mean, why do we have all the guns and everything in the States? I mean, go back to the time where it took 10 minutes to load one. It might give somebody time to think before they shoot.
I'm so surprised that they allowed to bring the weapon to the public.
Yeah. Well, one of them was a sawed-off shotgun, they think. So.
What's that?
They said one of them was a sawed-off shotgun.
Really? Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about Jerry? How could we teach others in a non-violent way then? What do you think?
Um, well, a lot of people are unfortunately not taught how to like properly deal with their emotions when they come up, and there's kind of an attitude of just to like ignore your emotions and to not really think them all the way through.
Mhm.
And I think that leads a lot of people to just when like they get upset and they get angry. And I'm sure at this festival there was alcohol, there was intoxicants involved.
Mhm.
So when anger and stuff hits like that, people, like the other person said, just become blind with rage.
Mhm.
And I when I was watching the news about that, somebody that was talking about it made a good point. They were like, why did somebody think I'm going to go to this Kansas Chiefs festival? I need to bring my gun.
Mhm.
It's like, why did you think that? And if somebody did bring a sawed off shotgun, that's an even more absurd thing. It's one thing to bring a handgun because you feel like you're going to be unsafe. To bring a sawed off shotgun is to me, that seems like somebody that was looking for trouble, somebody that wanted to cause harm to others for whatever reason that may be, whatever suffering they may be going through.
So in Kansas City, they allow people to carry that shotgun around?
No, I don't think there's anywhere in the country that a sawed-off shotgun is allowed. That's an
I think they were
extremely
just, yeah, I think they're just hiding and concealing it just to
Oh
bring it
yeah.
in. So,
yeah. It's if you have a sawed-off shotgun, you want to cause serious harm to somebody. That
Well,
is,
I think they had some kind of inside tip that something was going to happen because they had 900 policemen, and they told Taylor Swift specifically, "Do not come because of a security risk." I think that they had some kind of tip that something was going to happen.
that now we get into the territory of conspiracy and
Yeah.
whether or not there's, you know, a government conspiracy to take away firearms from citizens for several reasons and this, that, and the other. But overall, there's people in America, unfortunately, have this attachment to having weapons in any form on their person because somebody's going to attack you. And then that just increases the likelihood of the attack because everybody's armed because they're afraid.
Mhm.
And if Frankenstein taught us anything, when people are afraid, that's when they're the most dangerous.
Yeah. I used to work in a prison as a correctional officer, and as a job corps as a counselor, so I saw a lot of things there too. Um, one of the guys, two of the guys, actually, I ran into. I went to school with them. One of them, he was a really nice guy, but he killed his girlfriend, and it was out of jealousy. It was a cop's daughter. He strangled her. He was extremely remorseful for it. I mean, he was, he said he knew it was an act of blind rage and jealousy. He was very remorseful for it. On the other hand, the other guy could have cared less. He was like ranking himself up in an Aryan nation thing. He didn't care. And he ended up, I actually saw him stab a guy 16 times on the yard because I couldn't go do anything because I had to wait for the other officers to get there or get stabbed myself. But it was such a vast difference in the two people. It was like, and you knew both of them from high school. And it's like, wow, what gets it, what has to go through somebody's mind. But it's like the one dude told me, he said, blind rage and jealousy is what caused me to do it. That was his when he killed the girlfriend, but he said he'll never get out. So, you know,
And also,
it,
especially nowadays, all kind of violent movies, video on YouTube, internet, and so forth trend. people
Bullying.
and ingrained in people's mind. No matter what happened, they will react in a violent way to be revenge, right?
Mhm.
That's why that's one of the reason. And even they especially young people, they play shooting violent games, right? They train their mind.
Right. Or
Yeah,
even the bullying that goes on online and stuff, people drive people to commit suicide from their bullying that they do.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We are, as a society, definitely very desensitized to like extreme violence and tragedy. We just see it, especially with the way the internet works now. In like short form content, you can just see so many horrible things happen in such a short span that your brain just like gets used to it. It's just like,
You become numb to it.
yeah.
It's like, oh, another shooting.
especially the young people, or even whenever the children come to my center, I say I would not allow them to play video game, especially shooting and violent games, because it's train their mind.
Right.
Yeah.
It is easy for them to harm other people in a violent way. Okay,
Yeah.
so time is up. Thank you today. So let's stop today and see you next Friday then. Thank you.
Yeah, then. Thank
Anytime.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.